What's going on, Packers Nation? Welcome back to another video of Packers Latest. I am your host, Taylor Bretl, keeping you up to date on the latest news on the green and gold Green Bay Packers. A happy, wild, crazy, whatever you want to call it, Monday to all of you watching out there. Currently recording this in the midst of all these trades that are happening. I apologize for not getting a video up this morning, but I had a slight feeling that a lot of these news stories were going to come out. When I was actually originally recording the video, this Rashan Gary news broke, and I said, I'm going to give it a couple hours to sit on the back burner. So now there's a pause in the day, at least for the Packers' sake. So hopefully when this gets up to you guys, this is all the news on the Packers for today, for Monday, but I would not be shocked if something breaks literally while I'm recording or shortly after this comes up. But anyway, want to give a huge shout out to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this video. If you want to sign up for Underdog, scan that QR code right up there. When you play your first $5, you can win up to $75 in bonus entries, so you do not want to miss out on that. But let's talk about the big news that started today off in Rashan Gary getting traded to the Dallas Cowboys. He will now join Kenny Clark. Both former teammates with the Green Bay Packers will now both be on the Dallas Cowboys on that defensive line. I am actually very happy with this. We talked about this in episodes before. Rashan Gary was expected to just be released from the Packers, save money in the cap room. The Packers got something out of it. They got a fourth-round pick in 2027 out of it, which in my opinion, I love because, again, the Packers were expected to just release Gary and get nothing for him. They get something for him. So I know people look at it, oh, you're trading a big name like Rashan Gary and only getting a fourth-round pick, but you got to remember the Cowboys, they are taking that contract. The Packers do not have to deal with it anymore, and they get a pick out of it. I really like this. The official release was per Adam Schefter on X saying the Green Bay Packers are finalizing a deal that would send defensive tackle Rashan Gary to the Dallas Cowboys in exchange for a late round 2027 draft pick per ESPN sources. And like I said, the pick that they got ended up being a fourth rounder. I wrote here, I do like the move because, yeah, you do get something for a guy that you were expecting to cut. Big number here, kind of on the money. This is per Ken Ingalls on X. He produces so many great posts on the Packers and how their money works. So check him out. Keningalls. He helps me out a lot with all these stats that I bring to you guys. He said, Packers eat $17 million of dead cap, but in parentheses said already paid, but now need to account for it. Out of those parentheses says, this year by trading Rashan Gary to the Cowboys, but the Packers remove his remaining $28 million in 2026 and $31 million in 2027 contract off the books. That is where it is big. You still have to eat some of the money, but the money that they're expected to pay him, again, $28 million in 2026, $31 million in 2027. That is pretty good to dump that contract. With all due respect to Rashan Gary, with him expecting to go, the Packers did it early. They found a destination for him. That makes things a little bit easier in Green Bay. He followed that up saying $11 million savings in 2026, $31 million savings in 2027, and a fourth-round pick with an exclamation mark. Again, in my opinion, I love this move by the Green Bay Packers. You get something for a guy that you expected to be gone anyway. Now you do trade him within the conference. It's not a division rival. You will, maybe you could cross over with the Cowboys. Could it make them better? I think this move helps out the Cowboys a lot, but when you look what the Packers are paying Micah Parsons compared to what the Cowboys are paying Rashan Gary, it's pretty similar. Don't get me wrong, the Packers also gave Kenny Clark and some picks up for Parsons, but for the money reasons, I am totally pleased with the Packers. Unfortunately, with the Rashan Gary not working out, I am pleased that they found a way to work around it. So, want to give thanks to Rashan Gary for everything, though. I mean, it's unfortunate how his time in Green Bay came to a close. Had such a dominant first half to the season this year with the Packers, but the second half, he was basically silent, and you kind of had to look for him on the field because he was not putting up any stats. It's an unfortunate end to him, but I do wish him the best in Dallas. That takes us into the second point, which when I was planning on recording this a couple minutes ago, this news broke, and I said, you know what? I'm going to give it a little bit more time. So again, hopefully this is the last of the messy news, at least for guys leaving Green Bay. I would be rather pleased. I would be fine if something breaks for a player coming to Green Bay while I record this. But Kingsley Enagbare signs a one-year deal with the New York Jets. This one I had to read through twice because it absolutely shocked me. I don't know. I just wasn't expecting this. This truly does shock me, to say the least. So Kingsley Enagbare, a one-year, $10 million contract with the New York Jets. I thought Enagbare was the next guy up after Gary. We talked about this in episodes before, saying when I kind of used the word when Gary's gone, Enagbare is the next one to step up. He does need a new contract, but I talked about it with you guys. A short contract, 1 year, 2 year. Clearly, it's a 1 year, $10 million contract. I am shocked that the Packers are not able to make something work with Enagbare. I thought, coming out of South Carolina, what he showed with the Green Bay Packers, I thought he was very good, especially when Parsons went down and when Gary was fizzling out, Enagbare getting more playing time. I really liked him, and clearly he's one of the first names to join a new team. this is going to be a little frustrating because now you look at the defensive ends and, you got Micah Parsons, one of, if not the best at the position, but who knows if he'll even be there week one? I mean, you really don't know if he'll even be there week one. This is where it's going to get thin. I mean, it's early. The Packers could get a big name. They might have a plan. They seem to always have a plan. But looking at this D line, it's a little questioning, and that's what I'm going to get into the next point. But before we get there, have to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor in Underdog Fantasy. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals, and more. If you get your picks right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. We're talking about it. I know football season's over, but there's still nearly every other sport going on the planet right now, and we're looking at the NBA. We talked about Enagbare. He's headed to New York. Let's take a look at a game that's being played in New York in the New York Knicks and the Los Angeles Clippers. I'm going to take Jalen Brunson to go higher than 24.5 points. He's been on a little cold streak, has not hit over 24 points over his last 3 games, but I think he's due for a bounce back. So what are you waiting for? Download the app today and use promo code FOOTBALLFAN to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code FOOTBALLFAN. Underdog. Make picks. Win money.
Must be 18 plus. 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska. 19 plus in Colorado for some games. 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia. And present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/play and get terms DFSTML for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 helpline at 1-878 or text HOMI 467-369.
I welcome you back to Packers Latest. Now we're going to transition from this Enagbare point right into this defensive line room as a whole. What is Green Bay's plan with the defensive line? Don't get me wrong. I know it's early. It's only mid-March. There are plenty of players out there that they could bring in. But man, this got thin in a second just like that over these past 2 days with the move to get Zaire Franklin. Colby Wooden is out of Green Bay. Rashan Gary this morning out of Green Bay. Kingsley Enagbare a couple minutes ago, maybe now about an hour ago, out of Green Bay. I mean, this is concerning, but I feel like Green Bay has a plan. So yeah, let's start off with Colby Wooden. I really liked his presence. He was kind of a plug-and-play guy. He wasn't a starter for the Packers, but he was a strong depth piece that was able to play in every game this season. He stayed healthy on the field. The Packers do acquire Zaire Franklin, but again, acquiring him because Quay Walker is likely gone. So this is nothing to Franklin, but it's not... I'm going to word this wrong. I could view this as an upgrade. Like him compared to Quay, this could be an upgrade. But for the Packers defense as a whole, it's not really an upgrade. It's a replacement because Quay's gone, Franklin comes in. That's how I view it. Then you lose Colby Wooden. So I kind of have the Packers at like -1 right now. You lose Gary, that's -2. You lose Enagbare, that's -3. You have all these names missing. I don't know who the Packers are going to fill in with this. And don't get me wrong, Gary wasn't, for what he was getting paid, he shouldn't be with the Packers. We knew that. Enagbare just getting signed somewhere absolutely stunned me. So there are names that you now have to look at. Who's going to step in for the Packers if they don't get anyone else? Well, number one, let's talk about number one, first-round pick, Lucas Van Ness from a couple years ago. This is a guy waiting for the breakout. He'd just been waiting for it. Is this the year he's going to truly get consistent playing time? Possibly. He could literally be the starting guy alongside Micah Parsons. Could he get consistent playing time? I don't know. On the depth chart right now, he's listed as the first guy behind Parsons, but that's not with Gary being updated, being off this. So who knows where they'll really fit him in within the depth chart. Another name, Barron Sorrell. Out of Texas, drafted in the 4th round this most previous draft. He showed really good promise. He's a younger guy. Clearly, he's a rookie out of Texas, but he was hurt for most of the season. He really didn't get time till super late in the year, so kind of feels like you don't know what you have from him. So you have Lucas Van Ness, where you know why you drafted him in the 1st round, but are yet to see it. You have Barron Sorrell, where you liked what you saw, but there wasn't much of it. And then Brenton Cox Jr., he's currently a restricted free agent. If the Packers are able to maintain him, keep him in Green Bay, does he get time? I don't know. Out of these 3 options, it's nothing to the 3 guys. There's no name that pops out of that group. Honestly, I know Lucas Van Ness is older. He's been there a while. Barron Sorrell is the one that pops out to me the most from what I've seen, but it would be a neat opportunity for Van Ness to have that jump up, and Brenton Cox Jr. has hung around a little bit, so it'll be very interesting to see what they do there. But the defensive line, it's messy. I don't know what they're going to do, but there's one name, one final name at least at time of recording, on who the Packers lost again, but this one is expected. Have to give a shout out to Malik Willis. He is able to ink a starting quarterback level contract. In my opinion, I think he got paid way less than what people expected. He moves on to the Miami Dolphins on a 3-year contract. There is news on this. The official release here is from Ian Rappaport saying the Dolphins are signing Packers quarterback Malik Willis as a new quarterback has landed in Miami. Earlier today, the Dolphins split ways with Tua Tagovailoa, so this really does seem like Willis is the guy. He gets 3 years, $67.5 million deal, worth $45 million fully guaranteed in the contract. I wrote here, this is kind of the Miami Packers, the Green Bay Dolphins, however you want to combine those two, because lots of names have traveled from up north down to the south to Miami. Willis now joins big Packer names. You got Jeff Hafley, former defensive coordinator, now the head coach there. And then you got John Eric Sullivan, who had been in the Packers organization since 2004. He is now the GM of the Dolphins, so Willis gets brought over with those two guys. Another, couple guys on the coaching staff, specifically on the defensive side of the ball with Hafley, also came over as well. On the Pat McAfee show, Willis was on there shortly after the news broke, in quote, saying, "Super excited to be down here, excited to go to work and try to do something special. It's a blessing." Willis, not expected. I think there's a 1% chance of hope that people thought he would be back in Green Bay. But when you're able to get a 3-year, $67.5 million contract, you know that those numbers are not going to be something that Green Bay offers you. Really exciting to see him get an opportunity. And the Packers, I believe they host them. I believe the Packers host the Dolphins this year. Should be a pretty fun reunion for Willis. I can only imagine everyone in that stadium will be standing up and applauding for him. No hard feelings. Excited that Willis is able to find a starting job somewhere, landing with the Miami Dolphins. But that's all I got for this episode of Packers Latest. It's a wild day. I won't be shocked as soon as I click stop recording if something else has already broke. I'll make sure to keep you guys updated, pumping these out daily because it's an exciting time of the year. It's a crazy time of the year, but I don't want to miss any of it. So I appreciate you tuning in as always, and go Pack Go.